Operation Love Thy Blue Jay? Here's it go. See, buddy? See where it went? There you go. I thought for... There he is. Yeah, watch out, guys. There's some large birdies up there. You want another one, do you? Okay, see it? There you go. Okay, who's next? I guess he is next. This guy here. There he goes. Oh, he's going for the corn, actually. I guess that's okay if you like corn more than almonds. I think you're a silly blue jay, but you're allowed to be silly. That's fine in my world. What do you think here, fellas? For a second, I thought I saw a white crown sparrow, because we did have one for a time. I stopped seeing them after a certain point in time. Not entirely sure why. I hope he's okay, that's my hope. I feel like I do everything I can to try and keep these little guys safe. Because I know it makes God smile just as much as it makes me smile to see him happy. That's the way God is, and I feel like people need to start recognizing that, or there's soon not going to be a world, or there's not going to be a United States left. You see, God is a God of love and light. He wants everyone to be happy. He made all of us. Like, you know what I mean? None of us are an accident. We're all supposed to be here. Like, I don't think it's that one side is right and the other is wrong. I think it's just people have become so selfish and materialistic that there isn't a right choice anymore. And that's what we need to do. That's what we need to change. We need to demonstrate to any and all observers that we're going to drop all this satanic nonsense. We're going to have morals that amount to, if something's wrong, it's wrong no matter who does it. We won't let Jeffrey Epstein's best friend of 11 years damn the earth just because he doesn't want the world to find out all the sick satanic things he does to children and how it's been held over his head by both Russia and Israel for the last decade plus. I think I want to point one thing out to point out just how dumb Donald Trump is. Like, Donald Trump, he defected from America in the 80s. In the 80s, right before the USSR fell. And he's been a traitor ever since. Like, it's just, how stupid can you be? Like, you partner up with the failed empire and then help them destroy, like, the reason that you were allowed to live in luxury and go to Pedophile Island with your best friend Jeffrey Epstein. Like, it's just nonsensical, I feel. But that's what happens, I think, in a country where the only thing that matters is that something's entertaining, or it gets people the attention they crave. I mean, who cares if there's a world? Who cares how God feels about it? We need our entertainment. We need it now. We need some freak that paints himself orange and likes hurting children to bomb a school filled with schoolgirls. And then we need to talk about that like it was a good thing, like they deserved it, and that that's somehow Christian. Even though Jesus said, what you do to the least of them, you do to me. That means that it's not okay to hurt anybody. Doesn't matter what the government says. Doesn't matter what anybody says. What matters is what Jesus said. Okay? That's what people gotta realize. At some point, people lost the plot on what Christ is and what he stood for. And it's not hard to see why that happened. For you see, the people that tortured him to death, they were going to be proven liars. That they didn't worship the real God, they worshiped the devil. That was going to be exposed completely if he would have finished his work. Because Jesus came to banish the devil permanently. That was his task, but he was stopped before he could do it. He still gave us the instructions on how to complete what he started, which were his 2 commandments. Love God with your whole heart, mind, and soul, and love thy neighbor as thyself. That's always going to be the admission price for heaven. That is never ever going to change. It doesn't matter what some crazy jackass says. It doesn't matter what this creepy cult of pedophiles says that worships Donald Trump. And here's one thing I really want to point out at this point. If you support Donald Trump, that means you support children being raped and eaten by Satanists. There's no getting around that anymore. To support Donald Trump is to admit that you worship the devil. That's fundamentally what it means. It means that you have no morals, you have no beliefs, you stand for nothing except for hurting anything that's weaker than you. That's your entire worldview. You don't care if things ever get better for the American people. You just don't want your neighbor to be happy. And what could be more satanic than that if Jesus, the only thing he commanded us to do was to love each other like we love ourselves. And you can't even do that? You can't even try? And then you want to use Jesus' name and his image as like a cudgel to hurt people on top of it. Like, it's also sick and satanic. It's mind-boggling that it's going on. But that's what happens when a culture descends into utter, like, nihilism and Satanism. So I feel like it seems like one leads to the other. If nothing matters, then why not be like the biggest monster you can be? Why not cause as much misery as you possibly can? That's why fundamentally everything has to matter. Everything has to have significance. And it's funny because it's true both ways. If you tell yourself nothing matters, then nothing will matter to you. But if you tell yourself everything matters, then maybe it's not right away. Maybe you don't develop a very powerful sense of empathy the first time you do it, but you keep doing it. You keep looking to your neighbor and saying, hey, my belief is that I want to make your life as good as it can be. I want to make you feel as loved as you deserve to feel. That's fundamentally what religion is. Religion is saying, I don't like the way things are right now, so I'm going to do everything in my power to make them better. That's what religion is supposed to be. It's supposed to be something that drives us to be better today than we were yesterday, and to be even better tomorrow. Something that brings all beings together, because we all have the same creator. We all came from the same being, the same place, the same whatever. The first material. Hi, Mr. Squirrel, are you hungry? Let's see. Hold on, buddy, hold on. You coming over? Are you coming over? See it? That was way off. Alright, hold on. Let me try again. Wait, did you get it anyways? No. There you go, buddy. But no, that's what I feel like this ultimately is. These videos are. It's my attempt at bringing religion to the animals and sharing that with anybody that wants to see it. But I think it's what the world needs. Like, the world needs to heal. We need to come together while we still can, or pretty soon there's not going to be anything left but misery. We're going to be stuck on a planet that could have been paradise. In fact, that once was paradise, that will have turned into like the worst hell anyone could ever imagine. Where we find out with a quickness that what the government had been hiding from us all these years regarding aliens was that they were the beings that Jesus came to warn us about. They were the wolves in sheep's clothing, the archons, the ones that feed on stress and suffering and traffic souls to farm it. The very beings that told us, hey mankind, don't you feel special? Don't you want to hurt your neighbors so that I can feed on their misery forever? Like, that's what like every satanic practice stems from. It stems from people cutting deals with, I mean, you can call them aliens, you can call them demons, it really don't matter. Fundamentally, they're power-seeking beings that will do whatever it takes to get what they want. And what they want is endless misery for all conscious beings. And it's not because they hate God, it's because it's the only way they can continue existing. You see, they've left God's plan of creation, so now the only thing they can do to continue existing is to feed upon things that haven't left creation. That's why there's been such a push to get mankind to leave behind everything natural and become some sort of cybernetic golem. And that's where it's coming from. It's all something you don't want involved with. You don't want anything to do with these beings. What you want is you want to follow Christ's teachings, and you want to go to heaven. You don't want to have to keep coming back again and again. See, that's what, in fact, made Christ so incredible. Everybody else said you have to reincarnate countless times. Christ said, no, F that. All you have to do is love thy neighbor and love God, and that's, you're done. It's over. No more bullshit ever again. So remember that. Love thy neighbor, and there's no more bullshit.